take it away.
Thank you very much, Haley. And yes, as Haley was saying, welcome everybody to our session here today. We are going to be talking about one of my favorite new features in your 365 apps called Copilot. So you may have attended some of our past sessions on ChatGPT, and we've been getting into a lot of the AI topics these days. Well, this is another topic related to the series of ChatGPT. So now built into some, not everything just yet, but to some of your apps within Microsoft 365, you will actually have access to this feature called Copilot. What exactly is Copilot? Well, Copilot is very similar to what you use with ChatGPT. It uses a AI, artificial intelligence, built into the applications to be able to process based on a large language model. It can process the instructions or the questions that we prompt it with. So understanding prompts is a good idea here in Copilot, just like it is in any of the Chat GPTs, whether you're using it as the Chat GPT application or you're using it through Windows 11 and Edge, Microsoft Edge, with the Bing search and different things. There's a lot of places we now have AI powered instruction that we can be using. So we're going to cover the main applications today, really just kind of get a brief introduction as to how they work. The handout available to you in the chat, if you download that, that's going to give you some reading material, giving you some more specific information related to ChatGPT, especially when it comes to which apps incorporate ChatGPT. I do want to mention that the information that we're providing for you today is as of March 2024. The reason I'm saying that is because, yes, this is very, very new. Therefore, there's going to be changes. And I do want to, with that being said, I also want to briefly mention the fact that ChatGPT is a work in progress. So please be patient. It's not the most speedy thing sometimes because it seriously is analyzing data, and sometimes it's analyzing a lot of data. It works with anything that we have saved to a cloud when it comes to files. So some of the examples that I'll be demonstrating with you today, it's going to be looking at my SharePoint, my Teams, my OneDrive for the information that I'm searching for, that I'm prompting the system to provide me. So we have to keep in mind it might be a little bit sluggish right now. I have already read that people have been complaining about that, so Microsoft is working on a solution for that. So just so you keep that in the back of your mind, and please remember, this is something new, so there's going to be updates on a very regular basis. Okay, so just like with ChatGPT, not everything comes for free. This built-in Copilot is actually something you add to your current Microsoft licenses. So I gave you just a few examples of what the licensing pricing is, but it does depend on what license your organization is using. So I'm using an E3, so mine, I do an annual commitment, but just so you can see that there are some pricing options available with that. And depending on your pricing structure, of course, you may have different features or different applications depending on your Microsoft license. Therefore, what you have available for Copilot might be a little bit different as well. So those would be things, of course, that would be managed by your IT department. I'll talk a little bit more on the kind of things to be aware of and cautious of as we kind of go through. But at the bottom of page 1, going to page 2, you can see that Copilot can be used in Microsoft Word, PowerPoint. We can use it in Loop, Outlook. We can use it in Teams. We could be using it in OneNote. We can be using it in Forms. Today, we're going to be focusing most of our efforts on the Copilot app. I'll explain what that means. Using it in Excel, using it in Microsoft Word, using it in Teams, using it in PowerPoint, and using it in Outlook. So we're going to stick to those main applications today and just get a little bit of, examples of different ways that you can use it within those applications. With that being said, I want to mention something so I don't forget later. When it comes to using Outlook with Copilot, depending on if you have the newest versions of your applications, like the newest Outlook for desktop, if you don't have that newest one, you're limited on the Copilot capabilities. But if you go to the online version of Outlook, you'll see more capabilities with Copilot. So we want to make sure that we do update. My Outlook is not updated yet. I'm waiting for a couple of things to kind of be tweaked or fixed or added back in before I do the full switch over to the new Outlook. So I use the online when I need some of my Copilot features. So I'll show you both. I'll show you what happens in the desktop version with my current version of Outlook and what happens in the online version so you can see the difference. Okay. Now I am new to this as well because it is a new application that we're using. So do I know everything about it? Absolutely not. I don't know if I'll ever know everything about it because there's so many things that it can do. Uh, but just keep in mind that it is using AI. Not everything is going to be 100% accurate. Always check your facts. Okay. So is Copilot safe to use? In general, we are going to say, yes, it is. It's very safe to use. Should your company have a policy on using it? Absolutely. Just like using the internet or anything else, I highly recommend that you have a policy that talks about the usage of Copilot because it is using artificial intelligence. So every organization should have a policy that basically says don't put personal information, don't put confidential information in it. Use things more generically. You can always tweak things. Like if I'm going to have it write me a letter, I'm not going to put the client's information in there to say, ABC company is behind by $5,000, write me a letter. I'm not going to do things like that because of the confidentiality of my clients. And so you want to be careful with those types of things. Okay, just like we would with any type of AI information, you want to be a little bit careful with that. So how do we actually access Copilot? Well, one of the ways that you can access it is just by simply going to your Microsoft account. So if I log into my Microsoft account, I can go to my navigation pane on my menu bar on the left-hand side and simply open the app called Copilot. When you come into Copilot, what you're going to see first is in the middle of the window, you're going to have these different tiles with suggested prompts. Can I just mention something here real quick? I don't think I put a lot of information about this in your handout, but when it comes to prompting in Copilot, it doesn't matter which application you're in, whether you're here just in the app or you're in Outlook, the more you give the prompt that when you're typing in your question or whatever, the more information you provide it, the better results you're going to get in the end. Okay, so always keep that in mind. We want to give good prompts to get good information out. Otherwise, we can say, boy, that was generic. And I used to say that until I realized how important a good prompt is. We should do a whole session just on good prompts. But anyway, what you're seeing when you come into this Copilot app, you could just be using Copilot directly here to analyze the data within your system. So keep in mind, it's using Microsoft and it's using all of your server applications in the background to generate answers to questions that we give it. So I'll get into these prompts here first. So I'm going to go into these prompts just so that you can get a better understanding how all this can work for you and what's going to end up happening. But before I do that, let me just kind of explain the screen. If you just want to start a new prompt, go to the bottom of the screen like we normally would in a ChatGPT situation, and just simply type your question in. We also have the slash that we can use, and you can see it says down there at the bottom, or use slash to reference people, files, or more. I'll explain that as I do a demonstration with that. On the right-hand side, you're going to see a list of historical chats that you have done in the past. So you can see these chats are ones that I've previously been working with. If I don't want that chat to be stored anymore, I can actually hesitate on the chat itself, click on the dot, 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 and I can either edit or delete it. I can edit or delete it. If I click on the chat itself, it's going to actually open the history of that chat. So I can go to any one of these previous chats, click on it, and it's automatically going to take me to that chat that I had prior. I'm just going to click new chat at the top right of the main window. At the top right, I've got this icon for new chat. So it takes me back to my main screen again, my main menu. I could have done the back arrow. I'm in my internet browser, but sometimes it's just easier to start a brand new one. So when it comes to these prompts, by the way, once you're here in Copilot, it uses what is, and this is on page 3 of your handout, it uses what is called a Copilot lab. A Copilot lab. So if I don't want to use any of these prompts to get started with a conversation, like help me write something, it's just giving you some suggestions. And by the way, we can choose files to have it correspond to when we're having it analyze different information. And I'll show you some examples of that. But just so you can see, these are the ones it's giving you by default. But what if you want some other examples of prompts? Go to the bottom right and click on this little icon that says View Prompts. When you click on that, you're going to get a dialog box showing you the starter ones. So there's a scroll bar here. You can scroll down and see these are all the starter ones. You at the top can save prompts. We'll get into that in another session, talk about how to create your own and those kind of things. Otherwise, you can actually go into different categories. So if I'm on my saved prompts, I can go into different categories about those saved prompts. But if I want to see every prompt that is available within this Copilot lab, I can click on that at the bottom right where it says see all prompts in Copilot lab. It's going to take you to another window, another website. And on page 3, I've got some information about what exactly is all of this. What is this all referring to? So when it comes to working with this Copilot lab situation, which is, of course, like everything else related to Copilot, it is a brand new feature, but it actually is where we can actually create, edit, and use existing prompts. So you can see there's a lot of these here. So create a quiz for 5th grade math, brainstorm funny names. You can use it for just about anything that you can imagine. There's a lot of these that are already in the Copilot lab already here, but of course you can actually get more information about what prompts are and how to use them and how to do better prompting. But just so you could see, when I get down towards the bottom here, it says show more, so I can keep scrolling and seeing all these different options. Down at the bottom, you're going to find some facts about it. So what are Copilot prompts? What can you get done with these prompts? I just highly recommend going through that information, and that is a good starter point. Highly recommend going in there and just kind of practicing, see what's out there, see what it is that you can do. So let's just take one of these and work with it. So I'm going to go into write more. Let's go to stay on track. What are the dates and deadlines mentioned in this presentation? So if I click on that, I'm going to be prompted with more information. And by the way, at the bottom, let me close this a second. By the way, at the bottom of each of these little nodes, you're seeing an icon related to the application it's related to. So this one, Stay on Track, is related to a presentation. This one is related to Microsoft Word, etc. So they can be related to specific documents. So whichever one you click on, you can write in, what are the dates of the deadline? It needs to know what is actually the file that you want it to work with. So you're seeing more information as you look down. Summarize this document, etc. We'll see how to use more of this when we're actually in a document, but just so you're kind of seeing what it is that it's giving you. I'm not going to use any of these right in here. I'm going to use them outside, but just so you're seeing all these great choices that you have. At the top left, if I want something specific, like maybe I'm looking for something for Outlook, where it said app at the top left, I can click on that drop down, choose Outlook, and then choose a category related to Outlook. So if I'm looking for something that I want to catch up on things, I could choose catch up. Now, keep in mind, they're adding more and more. Since I first came in here, they've added like 50 more or more, probably 150 more. So just so you know, this is constantly being updated. So don't take it for what you see today. Every day there's more and more being added. So pretty cool how we have this. So if I wanted to draft an email congratulating my team on the end of the fiscal year, it's going to give me this window. And by the way, I'm just going to share this. I could go to the top right and I could share this prompt with other people, just so you're seeing what you're getting. Make your own, take it to the next level. You could actually make your own prompt, especially if it's going to be something that's going to be specific to your organization. So giving us some great ideas on how we can be using that. So I'm going to actually just jump back to my original Copilot window, and I'm back into my prompts window again, and I'm just going to close that. So I'm back at my main menu because I want to do a few examples of, what exactly could you be using this for? Now, like I said, be patient. It's not the fastest thing at processing some of this information because of the fact that, my goodness, when you think about what it's doing in the background, it's like, yeah, I can be patient. So kind of think about that. So I'm going to copy and paste some data that I typed in a Word document to make it quicker. Plus, I don't type well. I'm going to come down and ask it a new question. So I wanted to create a 5-question quiz about Excel pivot tables. I'm just going to put something very generic in there and press enter, just so you can see what it's going to end up doing. So sometimes it has to locate a file, analyze a file to know what it should be asking. But this particular one was pretty general that I asked. So it's coming up with 5 questions for a quiz on Excel pivot tables. So I could do stuff like that right from here. Okay. It gives you the capability, once it's generated, it gives you the capability of copying it. So if you want to put it into a Word document, or maybe you're going to use it in Microsoft Forms and things like that, which is probably where I would use it, as Microsoft Forms, you have the ability of being able to do that. It's going to keep the history of this over here on the right-hand side, just so you're noticing that it does that. If I wanted to continue this prompt, like I could add to it, and I could say, add a question about pivot charts. So I could have a continuous conversation about one specific topic. But as soon as you decide that you want to change topics, do a new chat. So it's just like ChatGPT, start a new chat if it's a new topic. So it gave me an additional question that I could have in the quiz related to working with pivot charts. But I'm going to do a new chat up at the top right. And I'm going to do something like, I'm going to put in, summarize the Excel Beyond the Basics document. So if you have a document that is saved to a cloud, so your OneDrive, Microsoft Teams, or SharePoint, you can have it analyze that document without you even being in it. Now, of course, it's going to have to look through all your documents for a document with that name. If it doesn't find that name, it can't, of course, analyze it because it didn't find the name. So you have to actually enter the correct name of the file, but you don't have to put in any of the like location of where it is. But if it's on your C drive, it won't find it, just so you know. So based on the search results, there are multiple documents with that title, Excel Beyond the Basic. So just so you can see that it's telling me that there's multiples of those. Well, what if I wanted to actually ask it a further question? Like, let's say that I want to know if there is information in that document that is related to an XLOOKUP function or whatever it is that you have your documents related to. All you have to do, and this is an example of something that I actually did use because I was trying to find a specific handout that I had that had the XLOOKUP information in it. So I've been using this a lot. I'm only a couple weeks into it, just so you know, but I'm trying it with absolutely everything. Why not? I mean, it is currently saving me, I gotta say, on average 20 minutes a day so far. Can you imagine how much time we can save once we get more comfortable with the application and Microsoft enhances what it does? Oh, I got the shivers. I'm so excited for the future of AI. So anyway, just so you could see what it came back, and it keeps asking me again, would you like more information on this? I could say, I could continue this and say, does it give examples on using the XLOOKUP function? I could be continuing that conversation on one specific topic if you wanted to. All kinds of things can be done depending on what it is that you need. Okay. So yes, the document Microsoft Excel for Leaders, who the author is Joe Lin, provides examples of the XLOOKUP function, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So do I want more information on that topic? No, I'm going to actually skip to another topic. So I'm going to do another new chat here. And I'm just using this general app called Copilot, which, by the way, I'm going to save the shortcut to my favorites at the top to make it easier to get to it. But let me do another question, a new question. What's the latest information from student one? Student one is one of my coworkers. They're part of my domain. And I want to know what's the latest information from student one. Are you kind of thinking about ways you can use this? I mean, wait till you see some of these other examples. It scares me sometimes as to how it does this. It's pretty cool. But it says, from your company, the latest information from student one includes their contribution to several files and team messages. They have worked on files such as blah, blah, blah. So it's giving me this background information about, the question that I asked. If I needed to be more specific and say, what was the last email I got from that person, I could even ask it to do that. Now, I could go all day and just show you examples of prompts, but I'm going to stop with those examples for this app. So in your handout, starting on page 4, it's going to talk about using Copilot in Excel. My goodness, this is such a great feature. I feel like I don't have to do much work anymore in Excel. I am learning more and more every time I'm in here about what ChatGPT can actually do in Excel. But one of the things that I want you to keep in mind is on the home tab of the ribbon, you're going to see the Copilot icon. If the Copilot icon is grayed out, I put this in your handout on page 4. If it is grayed out, that basically means that it's either not enabled, or the main purpose, the reason is probably because your file is saved to a local and not to a cloud. So make sure your file is in a cloud, otherwise you cannot use Copilot. Okay, I put that in your handout because I get that question all the time. I get people emailing me and chatting with me, why is my Copilot grayed out? So just so you know that. Okay, so what exactly can Copilot and Excel do together? There's a lot. This is a very short list. It has the ability to ask questions about your data set in a natural language rather than just formulas. It can reveal correlations that you have. It can do what if scenarios, which I think is absolutely fantastic. It can query data. It can sort data. It can generate models based on the questions that we give it. Makes it easier for not only beginners, but for advanced users as well. It can help with figuring out formulas. And there's even more listed in your handout, what Copilot in Excel can do. So if you take a look at your handout towards the middle of page 4, you're going to see those. But let me actually do a little bit of demonstration with this. As a matter of fact, let me go to this worksheet. I'm going to go to this range of data, and I'm just going to click on Copilot because I want you to see what's going to happen if you do that. Right away, when you click the Copilot app, you're going to get this pane on the right-hand side, and it's actually letting you know that it only works inside a table. So we can't necessarily, as of today, March 2024, we can't necessarily just select cells and have it analyze those cells. Right now, it's actually analyzing things that are built into a table. So if you don't already have your data in a table, you will need to put it in a table. Mine is not in a table, so that I'm getting select data in an existing table. I only work with Excel tables. So I'm just going to go to insert table, and it selects my range of data. I'm going to click OK. So now I have my information in a table. So now my Copilot has available these questions at the top where it says add formula columns. I could have it highlight information based on a criteria. I could have it sort or filter data, or I can just have it analyze the data. All right. So right away, when your range of cells is in a table, it can do that. I'm going to just click analyze, and it's telling me I can analyze data and show insights in charts, pivot tables, but I have to select a suggested prompt. So here's the suggested prompts. It analyzed my data. And if you have, let's say that you have 10,000 rows going across and a million or columns going across and a million rows going down, it takes a moment for it to actually analyze that large amount of data, just so you're aware. But based on what it analyzed so far, sorry, I had to put my cup down. What it analyzed in my data so far, it gave me some suggested prompts. So it's telling me, do you want to sort month by average, southeast, in ascending order? Do I want to sort by month for southeast? How many different months are there? Do I want to find out the average of northeast by month as a column chart? You know, it's asking me all these different things as to, is this what you want me to do to analyze this data? So it all depends on, what do you want it to do? I'm going to say, I'm going to select these dates. I'm going to select well, actually, you know, it doesn't even matter if I select the dates, to be honest, because I actually have to tell it that. So I'm going to say highlight, I didn't type this out, sorry, highlight the date column for dates in May of 2019 in a red color. So I have to tell it which column I want it to work with. It doesn't necessarily work with what I selected. We have to tell it, I want it to be the Southwest column. I want it to be this column, that kind of a thing. So I had to tell it to do the date column. So it's automatically looking at it, and it says done. So it highlighted everything in that color that I told it to do. I could have said change the font color to red, or, you know, or whatever I wanted it to do. So it's asking me if I want to keep that. And so on the right-hand side, it says dates that were 5/1/2019 to 5/31/19. Those are all highlighted. So we don't even have to use conditional formatting. Let ChatGPT do it. Or I should say Copilot do it. If I don't want to keep that, I just wanted to see it right now, all I have to do is click undo. Okay. And then maybe I want to find out some more information about this data. And what if I want to find out something? Well, actually, let me do one more highlight for you. I'm going to have it do one more highlight. I'm going to have it highlight the top 25% with a light blue color Maybe let me do a different color because my table is blue. In an orange color in the southwest column. So I'm saying, look at the southwest column, and the top 25% I want to be in orange. I could say I want the bottom 25% to be in green or whatever. So it can do that. Highlighting is very, very common for it to do. So it automatically analyzed the southwest for me and automatically did that. Now, I personally have gotten into talking to ChatGPT, just so you're aware. So I'm going to talk to it this time instead of me typing it in. Highlight the southwest column for the 25% lowest numbers in a green font color. Then I'm going to click send. I don't know about you, but I might as well, because I'm saying it to my head when I'm typing it out anyway. So I might as well just say it to ChatGPT or to Copilot. So just so you can see, you could do that. So it tells me it's almost there, making changes to your table. It's just finishing it up, which I like the fact that it's letting us know what it's doing. Okay, so now it's showing us the lowest numbers in a green font. So pretty cool that it can actually do that. So those are a couple of examples with that. Let me take you to, let me see what, I was going to analyze another one. Oh, I could do it with this. Instead of doing a lookup, if I don't need to do a lookup function, I just want to know what the answer is to something I need to look up. I could actually ask the computer, and I'm gonna base it on this data here. I clicked in the data because then the Copilot on the right hand side is analyzing that data. So I'm going to go in and ask it another question. Let me ask it the question of, because this is already in a table, just so you know. Find the destination postal code for the shipment IDSH 215. Now, normally I probably would have said that instead of typing it because I don't like to type, but just so you could see, it can look up information within a range of data as well, making sure that your data is in a table. If it's not, the computer is automatically going to tell you that when you open Copilot. So, and tables are so wonderful anyway. So it's actually telling me what that postal code is. So if I just need to know what that postal code is, and I have, 10,000 columns going down across and 100,000 rows going down, I don't want to have to, you know, analyze it myself or have to create a formula to do it because I'm not going to store it anywhere. I just need to know it. I need to know that data. So great way to do that. So we could do different types of lookups. Lots of lookups can actually be done, by the way. I've got this worksheet here called employee data. There's so many different things that we could do in a situation like this. As a matter of fact, so I'm within this data, but it's not a table right now. So you can see on the right-hand side, because I've already been using Copilot, Copilot just prompted me and said, because I clicked in this range, it says convert this data range into a table. I don't even have to do it myself. The computer will do it for me. So I'm going to click convert. Once I click convert, it's now a table. Instantly, it became a table. Now I can analyze the data within that table. So one of the things that I'm going to ask it is, I need to know what the subtotal of Laura Callahan's extended prices is. And I could even say for this date or what. Actually, I'm in the wrong worksheet. Sorry about that. I need to be in this worksheet. I can't analyze that if I'm not in the right worksheet. Sorry about that. Okay, I have to turn this into a table. Totally my fault. Let me paste that question here again. And now I'm going to have it analyze this range of data to have it look at any of the salespeople that are Laura Callahan. It's going to give me a subtotal of any of the extended prices. So if I need to know, did Laura Callahan sell this product? It can look it all up for me. I don't have to manually be doing my filtering in that. The computer is going to do all that for me. And then I could ask, what was the average sale, or the average quantity that uh, was sold within this country or within this company or whatever the case would be. I could continue to analyze it further and further. Then I could say, highlight the top 25%, do bold on the top 25%, whatever it is that I tell it, it would be able to do that. So it's pretty great how it can analyze a range of data to give you so many different things. It can help with VBA code. So we have a lot of things that are kind of beyond the scope of this first introduction session that we can be covering later, like with modeling. With doing some different what if analysis tools and having it write formulas for us and things like that, we'll cover in another class. But today we really wanted to start out with just an introduction. So anyway, this would be a quick introduction to some of the things that you can have ChatGPT, I'm sorry, I keep saying that, Copilot do right it here in Excel. But let me go to another example. Let's actually talk about using this with Microsoft Word. So talking to Copilot and the start of Microsoft Word are both on page 5 of your handout, just so you're aware. So I have a Word document that I'm going to open. It's a communication and time management document that I did for a company a million years ago. And I want to use Copilot to help me analyze this existing file. So what are some things that we can use Copilot with Microsoft Word for? It can draft content based on a specific topic, so it can physically help us write, or it can help us rewrite. It can summarize data. We can ask questions about our document. Does this document include the date of the blood drive? If I am not sure, instead of me searching for it, let Copilot do the searching. Transform table text into tables. It can rewrite or adjust. We can chat with ChatGPT with Copilot in Word. So if I say ChatGPT, I really mean Copilot. So let's see some examples of actually using this in a Word document. I'm just going to go to the Home tab of the ribbon on the right-hand side and click on the icon for Copilot. It's automatically going to analyze my document because I have existing information already in the document. And so you can see it says, I can chat, respond to your questions, and help you with writing and summarizing. So what if I wanted it to summarize this document? All I have to do is click on it, and it's automatically going to do that. Haley, someone has a question?
Hi, Jillian. Yes, we have a question. Can Copilot translate Word documents?
To a different language?
Yes.
100% yes.
Awesome.
I just did that for a client the other day. You can also do things like that in Outlook and stuff too. Okay,
Great. Thank you.
great question. So you can see right now that it came back with the main topics of the document, the top types of communication, the 7 C's of communication, the 9 rules of communication, and it's giving me a brief description of each of those. So it's got 11 different references, as I can see down here. It's got 11 different references. So if I wanted it to give me just a bulleted list of the topics, give me a bulleted list of the topics. I can further be asking questions along the way. So it's taking whatever it is that I have within this document and it can analyze it any way that I need it to. I can have it look up information. I'll show you if I needed it to kind of help me reword something, because sometimes I struggle on this is how I'm saying it, and that's the way I type it in, but it's like, is that the way it should be said? My grammar checker doesn't always come back with, restructuring the sentences or the paragraphs for me. So sometimes I need some further help with it. And that's where this comes in. So it's also asking me, what are the 7 C's of communication? So basically, it's giving me further prompts that I could be asking the computer asking the program to find within this document. If I want to know what are the 3 secrets of time management, which of course we all should know this, you can ask it that. I can just click on that as one of these suggestions. So it's pretty cool how it's actually analyzing that entire document. Now, of course, the longer the document, because I have a lot of documents that are like 200, 250, 400 pages long. And those, it takes longer for it to analyze. So it's very sluggish sometimes, but it automatically can pull information out. Maybe I wanted to actually write a short, fun, casual paragraph. Oh, I don't want to view prompts, so move away. Paragraph describing this document. So the more I feed it, the more accurate the result will be. So it's pretty cool how we can actually, and that's back to thinking about the prompts it is that you are using. So if I just say, give me a paragraph describing this document, I'm not really feeding it the tone I want it to use. And I could say, avoid this word or avoid this information, so we can give it exclusions as well. I could ask it to rewrite it, whatever the case would be. So according to this document is like a superhero guide to mastering the art of communication and time management. I couldn't have come up with that myself. So I can actually use this. So Haley, now you know where I'm going to be getting my descriptions from. I'm going to be using this to get my descriptions for sessions because I'm not as creative as Copilot is. It's pretty awesome. So as you can see, I could continue with just having it analyze this document, but let me go to something. Let me go to nonverbal communication. So I used my navigation pane on the left-hand side because I'm using styles. I could quickly jump to nonverbal communication. And I have this paragraph here about facial expressions. Notice when I'm clicking here, by the way, when I click and select my text, so technically selecting my text, I'm getting this little icon over here, and it's giving me the ability to rewrite with Copilot. So if I click on that, I can have Copilot rewrite or visualize this as a table. So if I wanted to take information and actually put it into a table, once I select it, this is one way you can do that. I'm going to say I want it to help me rewrite with Copilot. So it's going to take and draft it. First analyzes the information that I had selected. Then it's going to come back with a suggestion. If I want to replace it with the information that Copilot gave me back, I click replace. Otherwise, I could insert it. I could insert it above. Isn't that cool? I'm not going to have it replace it. I'm just going to leave it. But I absolutely love this. Haley, did somebody have another question?
Yes, no, that is super cool. But the question is sort of relating to Excel and Word with Copilot.
Okay.
So the question is, if we have an Excel document with data, can you provide a summary of the data in a Word document?
We can get a summary of the data. It's going to generate it this is what I have had it do. I was in the Excel file. I needed it to generate the entire workbook. And then it gave me the summary in Copilot, the window. Then I copied it and put it in a Word document. Can it automatically grab from Microsoft Word? That I don't know, but I could do it right within the Copilot app too. I don't even have to be in Excel. I could just say, this is the name of the file. Please give me a summary of it. And then I can put it in wherever I need it to go.
So could you do that from within the Word extension here, do you think?
I don't know that it will reference that file like that. Let me do a new document here real quick.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
So let me check something. Because like I said, I'm new to this and I haven't tried absolutely every scenario available. And I know we're going to be running out of time here, so I want to get to the other applications. But notice how when I open up a new document, what it gives me, select the Copilot icon or just press /. So you can see that it's, I'm sorry. Once I go into Copilot, the Copilot's going to come up and it's going to say, I don't really have any data for it to analyze, but it can chat with me and I could still ask some questions. But what this is telling me over on the right-hand side is to click the icon. It's going to bring up, do I want to reference a file? That might work. See if I can use the Excel file. Doesn't have any suggested availability. Why do you not have any suggestions available? Let me start typing Excel. There we go. For, I'm going to put the word leaders. I forgot what it was called now. Excel Copilot. Oops, I had a space in there. Sorry about that. It's not finding it. But that might be something that it might work with. I know it was just finding, I don't know how specific it has to be. It was finding PowerPoint.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's not finding the Excel
Yeah, it's not
files,
finding
just Word
Excel.
and PowerPoint.
So you might
Interesting.
want to just try that right in the app itself,
Yeah,
because the app does it. The app will
perfect.
find those files. So anyway, just
Okay,
so you can
thank
see,
you.
not sure that it was going to work with that. But otherwise, if you're starting a brand new document, let's say that I started typing. My old typing class stuff. As soon as I press enter, by the way, notice my Copilot icon appears. If I click on it, it's going to automatically give me the draft in Copilot. So I can describe what it is I want it to type in. Write a summary of how an airplane flies. I can click generate. Just so you can see, it can do just about anything. So I've been using this quite often when I'm writing documentation and different things. So it is a very, very smart tool to be using. Now, because of our time, I thought we might run a little late on our time, but it can do just about anything. If I wanted to, draft an email, I can be in Outlook and say, write me an email, help me write this email that is related to a blood drive. I just did a whole bunch of things with a blood drive for a customer of mine. We used Copilot to have it write a customer letter for an upcoming blood drive. We told it what the date was and where it was going to be located at. And then I went back and I said, oh, can you make it casual and fun? Can you create an image? So I'm going to say, keep that text. I could actually ask, create or find, I'm going to say, find an image for a blood drive. So it's working on the response. Sorry, it can't find anything related to this document about that. But when I was in the blood drive document, it actually found some information and brought in an image. It created an image for me related to a blood drive. I had given it further information, but just so you know that those are things that it could do. But we only have a couple minutes left, and I want to do a couple of other applications for you because there's some super cool tools we could use. So let's move on to Teams. In Microsoft Teams, you have a couple of different places right now that you can utilize our Copilot situation. If you're doing a meeting, this is to me one of my favorite things in Teams is using it in a meeting. If you are using Teams in a meeting, or I'm sorry, if you're using Copilot in a meeting, you can set it up so that it does. And let me just join a meeting here real quick and see if I'm going to join a Teams meeting. Just to give you just a very brief description of what I'm talking about here. I'm going to join this. I'm going to go to my more, and I'm going to say, oh, my transcription is turned off on this particular meeting. If you transcribe your meeting, 100% you should, because that's going to be able to analyze your data further. So what if I came into the meeting late? Oh, it is typing in my transcription. It was grayed out, but I don't know why it's not doing that, but it's showing me my transcription. So what it's going to do is, as people are talking in the meeting, if I came into the meeting 5 minutes late, I can go into ChatGPT Copilot from the menu at the top, and I can tell it, what did I miss since I just got here? it can tell you things like that. After we're done with the meeting, we can actually have it give us action items. What I can ask it questions like, what did Alice ask about that Word document again? You know, it can actually look through the transcripts of your meeting and bring back information. So if you have the transcripts available, it saves those transcripts then, and then you can further use it outside of the meeting. Otherwise, everything is just during the meeting, just so you're aware. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the meeting. Highly recommend using it when you're using meetings. It's an absolutely cool tool. But if I go to the chat in Microsoft Teams, I can go to the Copilot icon right at the top. This is going to give you the same Copilot that I showed you when I logged into my Microsoft account. So you can see I have the different historical questions over on the right-hand side, same things that I was using just a little while ago. So it is exactly the same as me going to the internet, logging into the and turning on Copilot. So I just use it through Microsoft Teams. If I want to find information, what was the latest from a specific person organized by emails, chats, and files, I can choose who the person was. I also could choose what files I'm referring to, what meetings I might be referring to, or what emails I might be referring to. It's pretty cool how all this can be analyzed. So I can say, I want it to look at everything. I want it to look at everything from student one. I'm going to go ahead and just click send, just so you can kind of see how that piece would work. I don't have too many people within my organization. I could put an email in there, but most of my emails are my clients, so I can't do that. I can't show you that confidential information, but just so you could see what it's going to come back with. So it's finding the latest emails, and it's organizing it by emails, by chats, and by files related to that specific person. I could continue the conversation and ask other information as well. Isn't that awesome? I'm blown away at the different things that this Copilot can do for us. And this is directly here through the chat feature, but it's really utilizing everything within your organization, whether the files are coming from any of your cloud locations, as I had mentioned before. So pretty cool that we could do that. But when it came to the meetings, there's so many different things that you could do. I mean, you need to kind of discover all that on your own. I did give you a little bit in your handout, but unfortunately, we don't have time for all of those. But let me go to a team. Let me take an example and kind of work with a team here for a minute. And let's say that I go into a channel and I'm on a post tab. And let's say that I wanted to, depending on what it is that I wanted to gather, if I had information that I wanted to actually find within a chat, I have this that I started this conversation here. Hope everyone is good. We have a busy week ahead of us in this post. I haven't posted it yet because I typed in this information and I have this icon down in the menu here for my Copilot. I'm going to click on that. So what it's going to do is select the text that I had already typed in, and it's giving me some, I can have the Copilot rewrite it for me, or I can go into adjust and I can say that I want this to be enthusiastic. So I'm going to say adjust this to be more enthusiastic. Do I want to replace it with this? Maybe I want it to rewrite it. Do it one more time and rewrite this for me. So it can take existing information that you had typed in and further analyze it for you. And I'm going to say, yes, I want to go ahead and replace it. So now it is replace that information. So don't just click send on a chat or a post. Use use Copilot from your menu down at the bottom. It took me a while to kind of get familiar with what the icon looks like, but it's universal. It just doesn't have the colors that go along with it, but that's okay. Once you know it, you'll be familiar with it, so you can continue to use it. But this is actually very, very cool. So enough about Teams for right now. Let's go to PowerPoint. So PowerPoint, of course, is a very powerful tool, especially when it comes to working with different things that we have that are related to Copilot. Let me bring this presentation over onto your screen so you can see this. So I've got this presentation about project management fundamentals. I have Copilot open on the right-hand side, but if I didn't already have it open, right from the Home tab, which is for all of your applications. Okay, bring my mouse back. Okay, so weird. Let me close and reopen that. I don't know why my mouse was being so weird. Sorry about that. Let me see if reopening it will keep my mouse on the screen here. But with PowerPoint, a lot of times for me, I need to get a summary of what's going on. So if I click, I'm in an existing PowerPoint, I click Copilot, I've got a couple of things that are going to be prompted over here on the right-hand side. I could create a new presentation, I could summarize my current presentation, or I can have it actually organize it. I'm going to say I want to summarize this presentation. It's going to automatically analyze every slide. And this has 160 slides in it. It's going to come back and give me a summary of it. So the main ideas, here's the course overview, here's the project management topic, my risk management, my communication plan. It's taking all of the different sections that I have and giving you a summary on each of the sections. This is now what I can provide to the people that are going to be attending that meeting or whatever the case would be. So absolutely love this. I have been using this since I got my Copilot. It's been fantastic. So that's one thing. And then I could further analyze it if I needed to, like it's giving me some suggested prompts down here at the bottom. But I can go back up to the top and maybe I want to create a presentation from a file. What if I had a Word document that we were brainstorming on what we should put in the PowerPoint, and we started creating an outline in a Word document? I can actually take, and this is my recent files, or I could find a file. I have a file here that is called Import Outline. I'm going to choose that file and click send, and it can automatically create a presentation for me based on that Word document. And the Word document was set up as an outline. It had some bulleted items. It was using styles like heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and those kind of things. So it's really cool how it can automatically do that. So it's telling me create a new presentation will replace your existing slide. So if you want to save a copy first, I could do that. So I should have been in a blank document to do that. So I'm not going to have it automatically. Well, I could because I don't really need that. I made a copy of it. So I'll say create a draft. So it's going to replace what is currently here and give me a draft based on the outline that I had. Otherwise, I should have been in a new presentation when I did that, and it can automatically do it. Otherwise, I could tell it to create a slide for me. I could say create a subtitle slide with this information, and it would automatically do that for me. But otherwise, here's what it's going to automatically give me, and it's going to generate those slides for me. But last but not least, I want to just mention how you can actually be utilizing ChatGPT, Copilot, I keep doing that, in Outlook. If I go to Outlook, which there's a lot of information in your handout related to using Outlook as well. Outlook, of course, is a very powerful tool, and we could be using that to we could be using that to analyze emails that we're on, or we can use it to work with new emails and different things like that. So what I just did right now is I clicked on an email and I have my reading pane on this right-hand side. And I don't really have a lot that I can do with that right here. I'll do it in the desktop though. But what this would allow me to do is, let's say I create a new email. And down at the bottom, I have some data that I had put in, and I want to know more information about this. I have my Copilot, or I wanted to help me draft more. I have my Copilot icon. When I come into a new message, I can have it draft it or coach me. If I do draft with Copilot, it can actually help me build the email itself. So that was what I had typed in. But let me go ahead and put in something like, we need an email to send to employees for a blood drive on May 1st. So I can say generate, and it's going to help me generate that. But if I'm in an email from someone, I can get a summary across the top of the email as well. And it can summarize multiple conversations that you have on one simple message. So it can look through all of the previous messages and summarize that whole entire email for you. So look for the summary going across the top. It is unbelievable. And I'm sorry, I knew we would end up running out of time, but I'm going to say keep. So it's automatically inserting what it had provided me, which I didn't give it much information, so it didn't write much. But isn't that awesome? It's unbelievable what that can end up doing. Haley, did we have any other questions that we can answer real quick here
We do have a bit of a longer question we can tackle once we're done
after?
here.
Okay.
Um, but Jasmine says life changing. I agree.
Yes.
This is absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Jolyn, for your presentation. If there are any questions we can answer quickly here, we can tackle that now. Just pop those into the chat. Otherwise, just thank you for being here today, everyone. Thank you. I will be sending the recording to everyone who attended today, so check your email box for that. The upload should be finishing this afternoon.